Mm. Before I left Stripe, I was on their capital product, so lending, and we were using. It was interesting to learn that you can't have like a black box AI risk model. It has to be fully explainable, so we can't use all the like fancy deep learning tricks. Because then you can't say why this person was denied for a loan, because that's illegal apparently, which makes sense. But well, probably better that we force the models to be explainable, or force them to be explainable, so people aren't getting rejected for being black or something like that.
I think it's like the smallest model for Gen AI is 7 billion, or like the long 7 billion.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the big, I think if you like, it's like capped at 500 million. That's how.
Oh, really?
And even like the better models that we have, they're all just like low based and so.
Mm-hmm. 500 million parameters. You can't do anything with that. Okay, let's see. Did you tell anyone at work that you're taking an EDM class?
I mean, some people. I just like stay until 6 and then leave the office, and then they would be like, "Why are you still on?"
Because I got that grind set.
What happens when you work at a bank? They expect you to log off early.
Mm-hmm. Do they do the thing where they force you to take vacation?
Yeah.
I've heard that's a practice. Like they don't want the system to get too reliant on one single person, so they make you like take your 2 weeks.
Yeah. Or like for me it's 5 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't want to work for 5 weeks. I guess so. How's it going? Good. Did you bring a bunch of gear?
I brought toys. Yes.
Oh, hell yes. Perfect.
I never used any of them, so I would love comments on do I keep things or I like ended a relationship and was like all of his stuff. But he doesn't touch it and he doesn't use it, but he wasn't planning on selling it. And so when I started this class, I was like, "Oh, can I borrow all your things?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay." But then I'm like, can you unplug those two speakers?
Oh no, I have a separate cable going to both of them.
Oh, okay.
Let me make sure. So I guess the relationship ended on good terms then, if
It
you can
ended
use
on
it.
good
All right.
terms.
Nice. Let me make sure I got the.
Wait, so you can keep that? If like, those are IT stuff, the things, but I don't think I have any wires that connect to my laptop right now. So I would first need to order them. But like, is this like?
Slide I call genius.
It's like 10 years old.
Yeah, I mean it's got all the basic functions. I mean as long as the knobs and the buttons all work, then yeah.
It looks like they probably still work.
This is a perfectly serviceable piece of gear.
And then the rest of the
I think
things
that's
are
a chaos layer. This is also
What is that?
chaos layer.
What's a chaos layer?
It's got this like XY touch panel, so you can control like 2 parameters at once, which you can do without touching it. It's like, and I mean, usually you run like audio signals through this and manipulate it with like I thought you had it in push.
Oh, that's what this thing in the box is.
Oh, you do? Oh my god, you brought so much gear. Okay. Damn.
Are you guys gonna do something today?
Well, okay, so today it's collaboration day. So we're gonna spend some time producing, then we're gonna hand off our stems to the next person. They're gonna add to it. And then
That's exciting.
It's gonna be more like playing class. So this is a very handsome piece of gear.
Okay, if I focus my time learning one of the 4.
Well, this is for DJing. This is you play piano.
No. Is this a MIDI? It's like a piano.
You were to pick one.
Okay, between the Ableton versions.
Hey, Tyler, we might need another.
I was just about to ask if you would mind helping me move one
I
inside.
realized everyone's going to show up today. Yeah, I guess I would try. This is the thing that's most. Yeah, if you don't already play keyboard, then this would be fun. But honestly, I've never used the Ableton Lift, but it is, made for Ableton. I guess so. It's keyboard. But this is basically like more knobs and buttons and no keyboard.
Okay.
So this should like integrate pretty well with the
Like, these legs will go through first.
Ableton push. Yeah.
Wait, so your X was happy. Well, my ex bought these things to just and then one of the things was like, why do you buy things you don't ever use? So this is one of them.
Now you got it.
If you're signed up for EDM 101 class.
It's a classic way to spend all your time buying gear, learning about gear, and you never actually.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, I'm taking an EDM 101 class. Maybe I'll.
I'm impressed with drag all the stuff out. This thing is really heavy.
I throw it. Like, harsh right out.
Let's set it down.
Oh, like,
Yeah.
you don't have in New York City.
Okay, should we flip it over? 3, 2, 1.
I was wondering, like, I live in like a studio apartment in New York, and I'm like, I want to have this live bar out.
Thank you so much.
It takes so much. I did it at home. Oh, that makes sense.
Should I move this?
No, we can just roll it over.
Okay. Should I move my?
I'll move it over.
I used to live in the that was a oh wow, if I take it off.
Tyler, any chance you can help us move these tables?
Yeah. That's how I go.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip it on the side first. This side, and then we're
Yeah,
gonna.
so you can only follow on your right hand, but not the left hand.
Yeah, you can use this cable. Oh.
Yeah.
What's on the other end?
You
have this on the board? This is a USB.
Oh, USB.
I might have a adapter.
Yeah, my laptop only has USB-C.
Yeah.
Alright, let's set it down. And we'll flip it all over one more time.
But no.
Alright, on 3. 1, 2, 3.
The other thing is you also need
Thank you.
Okay, well, you can use this. Like, this would be the second best option. This probably doesn't take power.
Wow, you're like so prepared. Oh yeah, this one goes in the machine. Everything too.
Yeah, you got some
I
toys.
just have. Well, in the class 2 times ago, someone brought.
That looks like a USB-C. Right? Oh no, that's a USB. So this is the right. Do people read my happy mails? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read it.
I never know. Okay. I don't have any tracking pixels in there.
Oh, I didn't download the thing.
It's okay.
So do that now?
Yeah, if folks want to download the sample pack, I linked to in the Discord. That would be a good time. Oh, here's mine. We got enough to open our own production studio here. So I know Tyler submitted a demo. Do we have any demos from anyone else today? Hannah, yeah, you said you were just talking a big game about how, you can't wait to show off what you've been working on.
No, it's actually
Oh, nice. Oh, I love this song.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wait, shouldn't Rishabh be here? Isn't that? Oh yeah. Are we good to close the door now? Maybe next time I'll start the class at 6:45. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. A soft 6:30, hard 6:45. Yeah, it's okay. I understand. All right, so we got Tyler's demo, we got Hannah's demo. So yeah, it's our last session of the cohort. Really, really heartfelt moment for me. No, just kidding. But yeah, I'm glad we've got to spend the last few weeks together. Today we're going to do some real-time production. We're going to play a game invented by the French surrealists called Une Corps Esquisse, or Exquisite Corpse. The way that game is played is originally you fold a piece of paper and then you draw something, and then the next person tries to connect their thing to the stems of yours, and then you get this crazy image at the end. You can imagine doing it with text as well. But we're basically gonna spend 10 minutes starting a track, then we're gonna export our stems, send it to the next person. They're gonna keep building on it, and then we'll listen to everyone's work and we'll have a good time. Before we get into that, we've got a couple demos, but did anyone have anything come up for them while they've been working on music lately, or any questions on production. I remember someone submitted a Psytrance demo, and I never made like a Psytrance baseline example, but that was you, right? Okay, so maybe I'll show that. But if there are any other questions, I'll get into some demos. So let's hear Tyler's latest edits to this hymn to Ra.
This light I call genius, noble being conversant with gods. He goes out, hears the hum of the world, beings of light muttering in every stream. In every rock and tree he hears God's songs. Then he returns and tells me what God said. His ears, his hands, his eyes. The dreaming cell will stir in the dark and follow the distant song of the lyre. We enter grace and beauty. Grace and beauty.
Hell yeah. Nice work. Yeah, I mean, right from the jump, you've got this great like left brain, right brain, male female dichotomy right from the beginning. He's talking, she's singing. Great way to set the stage. And then the synth comes in to start building that anticipation. Arrangement is really strong through and through. I think probably the vocals could use a little more clarity. I was having a little trouble following the text. Not necessarily the end of the world, but maybe
vocals meaning the spoken words.
Mainly the spoken word stuff. Yeah. One thing you could do there is like sidechain the kick to the vocal, so you can then turn the vocal up louder, and it will, the kick will cause it to duck at key moments, and so you won't clip there, but you could just turn the vocal up louder as a result.
You mean I have the vocals changing based on the kick, or
Yeah.
the kick decreasing volume when the vocals come in?
No. You want the kick to be solid through and through. So when the kick hits, the vocal volume will drop down.
Mm-hmm.
So you can generally turn the vocal up. It'll go down when the kick comes in, but it will be louder in general. But because of the side chaining, you won't compromise your headroom. Could maybe also some kind of boost in the highs to create more clarity in the vocal could help. I think honestly, what you're also kind of hitting some limitations of the AI tooling. There's a sort of like as a in general it's good, but there's a inconsistency at times in how strong the kick is, maybe some of the levels in the different instruments. I think that comes from the difficulty in controlling the AI and getting it to stay on task, on track. I don't know any good solutions to that other than basically only using the AI to give you ideas and then manually implementing those ideas. Maybe the AI tooling will get better and it'll be able to maintain consistency over 3.5 minutes, which is a really long time. It's a lot of data.
What I mainly try to do is just listen for where the inconsistencies are, isolate the different instruments to see where they are, and then manually go in and fix.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We talked about you putting in your own kick drum.
Yeah.
And did you do any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what were the highlights you had from the first version you submitted? I feel like the last 40 seconds of this were a lot different, and then maybe I heard some parts, some other types of sounds in the beginning quieter parts. But yeah, what were what did you mainly focus on editing from the first time to this version?
The main thing was just adding a totally different ending.
Okay.
One that felt more hype to me. That was the one that came after the I wanted a last big hurrah, whereas the previous one just kind of petered out. Another was just adding new effects like the laughter and stuff. And then beyond that, it was just tons of little tweaks. One moment where the kick just completely changed to a new kick that sounded more tinny. I substituted that out, boosted the kick drums, saturated and overdrived a bunch of the synths. Things like that.
Was this mainly generating in Studio and then combining in Ableton, or in Studio?
I did most of the arrangement in Studio, and then Ableton was for fine tweaking and automations and things like that.
So you do generations for one layer at a time, you tell it what you want for this new layer.
I wish you could do that.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to do that than it should be.
Okay, so it's mainly generates the whole thing stitched together.
Exactly. So I generated 100 full tracks basically because I can.
Necessarily. Cool. It's already it's already exactly 1/8 note long, so that's great. Usually I like to do 150 for sidetrans personally. Turn this up. Get it 4x4. Cool. And then baseline wise, it's super simple. It's basically just a saw wave with a volume and filter envelope on here. So we've already got the saw wave, great. Really important to turn the phase randomization to 0 because we want that consistent sound in the bass. We don't want it changing the start position and giving us a sort of subtly inconsistent sound. So then we'll do 16th notes. That's a rolling bass line. F's across the board. Yuck. Let's shape the sound a little better. So.
Why would you make it a bunch of individual notes as opposed to one long note?
Oh, because I want to re-trigger this envelope every note. So I'm going to get this plucky kind of punchy sound. So first step is to bring the volume envelope down. So it's already good. And then simple, we'll just use low pass filter, and we'll put another envelope on that here. And then if you think about like a piano string, if you like strike it with a hammer, it will have volume for a longer time than it has high frequencies, right? The high frequencies will tend to decay off the quickest because they require more energy to sustain at an equal amplitude. Like, you know, a high frequency sound has to travel back and forth a lot faster than a low frequency wave. So for the same amount of energy, you get fewer high frequency oscillations, or they have to be shorter. So all that is to say, for the filter, we want it to decay faster. Oops. For the filter, we want it to decay faster than the volume envelope, so that'll sound more realistic. All right, what does that give us? Whoa. That's a crazy artifact there. What's up?
Can you maybe tweak the envelope on the filter just so you can like kind of imagine what when you change it, like how does this sound like when you tweak like maybe like decay or something on the filter?
Probably would not have any resonance on there too. So I think in your example, you basically opened the filter up over time.
Yeah.
So you would do something like this, like really powerful for making pretty crazy tones, especially like really gritty, cyberpunk, synthwave, mid-tempo, like stuff like Res. So yeah. I got me. Chain. Oh yeah, and I was going to show you what the limiter does. So let me just reprogram the sound real quick.
And envelope 1 is automatically programmed to the sound. Is that right?
Yeah, by default, envelope 1 is your volume.
Okay.
I don't know. I assume it's hard coded somewhere. I don't think there's a way to change it. You can assign envelope 1 to other things as well, but by default, it's sorry, I need to. That actually doesn't sound all that great. Let me give it. And there's other ways to optimize your sidetrans baseline even more. Maybe I would add an envelope onto the pitch as well, so I get even more of an attack at the beginning. And that needs to happen even faster, because usually, like if you were to pluck a string really hard, you're giving so much energy into it that it actually like briefly changes the pitch, raises the pitch of the sound, and then it goes back to its resonant frequency. That's too much. Maybe. Well. Just to give it a little extra punch. Right. So let's render these. So I'll use resampling for this. Resampling. Solo. Wait, I gotta record it. Okay. Undo that last one. All right, so this is what the resulting waveform looks like. Now, if I throw a limiter on it, so I'm going to put it in maximize mode. So it's trying to make my signal as loud as possible. I'm going to set the release to auto rather than picking a certain. Release is how long it takes for the limiter to recover after it has detected a signal that is above the threshold. So that's why I leave it in auto, because I don't know what a good setting is. So auto, whatever. It's like here it's pretty quiet. The limiter is like making everything really loud. And actually, like this is turned down a lot, and even the signal here is not, it's not hitting as it's not going as loud as it could go, right? So I can turn this up a bit before it starts clipping. So now, when I drive the limiter, the limiter also glues the sound together. So it when we're mixing, we want each element to have its own like job, its own little slice of the frequency spectrum, its own slice of the time spectrum. Like you don't want a ton of transients all hitting at the same time. So you keep things nice and like cleanly separated, and then the limiter comes in and kind of like packs it all in nicely, glues it together so it has this like really consistent, coherent sound, and it makes it louder and it makes it more fun to dance to because it's like just hitting you harder. And you'll see when I render this out what it does to the waveform. Let's see, bounce track in place. So you see how it's like it embeefined the sound. we went from this to this. And so this, this one's got to be more fun to listen to. It's pushing more air. Before, after. And then, there's other stuff that mastering tools do. Like they can add more stereo dimension so it sounds wider. They can, do other things. But the most important one, if you only have one effect in your mastering chain, having like a limiter on there at the end to make everything loud and glued together is what you want. So.
But you're using a limiter at this stage, or you're just demonstrating?
Let's say, I put a limiter on my, let's say this is my track, and now I'm going to master it to make it really loud. Okay, I put this limiter on it. If you push it too much, it can start sounding bad though. So you gotta dial in your taste, even though the LUFS will be much higher if I absolutely crush the sound. But then you're sacrificing dynamic clarity, and then no one's gonna want to listen to your track no matter how loud it is.
But usually we wait till the end for getting the full multi-track to put the limiter on there, right?
Yeah, some people. There's some philosophies that are like, okay, your mix should be so good that all you need is like a little bit of limiting at the end to glue everything together. Other people have much more complex mastering chains. I usually just use ozone. Near the end too, like the limiter will also make small adjustments you make to the sounds. It adds leverage, so it can make them alter the overall mix a lot. So usually I end up doing I'm mixing as I'm going, but then at the end when I'm mastering, because the mastering changes so much of the sound, I often have to do some final mixing there. Like it has a tendency to amplify the bass frequencies a lot. The reason being that, let's see, do I have a good explanation for why it does this? I'm not sure I do, but I'm sure there's a good reason for it, and I could probably come up with one if I think about it long enough. But it does tend to amplify the bass frequency, so sometimes you got to like turn down the bass or turn down the kick, especially because the kick is sidechained to a whole bunch of stuff. So it has its own lane, and once you master it, it might kind of take over. I have at least one of my tracks where every time I listen to it, I'm like, damn it, the drums are so loud, because I needed to turn them down a little bit after I put the limiter on. But yeah, so, and that's also why it's good to have reference track at the end. So, you put your mastering chain on, you A/B it against your reference track. You're like, okay, the hi-hats need a little bit more juice. Okay, turn down the bass. Mids maybe need to be brought up a little bit, whatever.
By reference track, you just mean any well-mastered tracks that you can compare.
Especially one that's like in the same genre or style that you're going for. Maybe you have a few different ones that you like different things about them. Like sometimes even a commercial track is mastered in a way that you don't necessarily like, but
Button when you go press escape and go to main.
I'm sorry?
If you press escape
Mm-hmm.
or like when it's in the different like the vertical view.
Here?
Isn't there like a button on the side to turn on the limiter?
Oh,
That's what I remember.
you mean this button?
Or no, not that one. Like no, what you were showing before. I remember watching a YouTube video and it's like you just turn on. Somebody was just turning on the limiter and then they exported it on me.
Let's see.
It wasn't as complicated as going through. I don't know.
Let's see. Is there any? Oh wait, I guess the stream hasn't quite caught up. I'm streaming the stream back to itself. Mode collapse. I think I'm not sure. Maybe I don't quite understand your question.
No.
Sorry.
When you do press escape for the vertical view of the. I don't know what you call it that view. When you press escape. Oh yeah, that one.
Okay, I'm in here.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then on the column for main, it's like those buttons. That one.
What does this one do?
A limiter or like I don't know.
There's no like the main output channel doesn't have anything on it already.
Oh, okay.
If you send me the link to wherever you saw this, I'm happy to look at it. I'm just not sure what exactly you're referring to, but yeah. Cool. So that's limiting. Throw in at the end of or on your main channel, or well, the way I do it is I have my main track here with all the drums, bass, foreground, and background groups, and then I have reference here, so that way I can put my limiter on just the main. Hey, what's up, Noah? And then my reference tracks will not have any additional effects applied to them because presumably they're already limited, mastered, whatever. And then I can A/B easily by, if you hold down Control while clicking solo, it'll unsolo everything else and only solo this, so you can easily go back and forth between like, my track, reference, my track, reference. And you can really like dial it in that way. Cool. So let's talk about how you collaborate with other producers. So it's all fun and games to make tracks on our own, but it's even more fun and games to do it with someone else. So what's the best way to do that? Well, let me pull up my track here. So if you're working with someone who has Ableton, that's like the best case scenario, because then you can share your entire Ableton project with them. You can basically pass it back and forth, and you'll add something, they'll add something, back and forth. The caveat there is that they need to have the same version of Ableton that you have. So if you're on Suite, your friend is on Light, they're not going to be able to edit your Ableton project, and they'll probably be missing a bunch of VSTs that you have access to. And then another gotcha, if you're on Mac and your collaborator's on Windows and their project uses audio unit version of VSTs or plugins instead of the VST version, your Windows collaborator will not be able to open your project because audio unit is a Mac only thing. So the most compatible thing you can do is use VSTs, or only work with people who have Macs, which it's like green bubble territory all over again. Right? Android is green bubbles. I'm Android trash, so I don't know what's up. However, if you want to work with someone who's using a different version of Ableton or even a different software entirely, like Logic or something, the way to go. Oh wait, sorry. Before I get into that, what you would do if you wanted to share your project with someone else is you go to File and you do this. You first do this collect all and save motion. So just make sure that all the different audio files that you are using for your project are like a copy of them is brought into the folder where your project is. So when they open your project, they won't see sample offline, sample offline, sample offline. You'll have you'll have a copy of them directly available here. So you would do file, collect all, and save. Oh, funny. I guess I probably started this track when Ableton 11 was a thing. See, so this is how they get you. So what I would need to do here is like file, save live set as, I got 3. Okay, now I will file, collect all, and save. Okay, all right. So gather all that up. As you can see, it's a pretty big project, so there's a lot of data to collect. And then killing me, Smalls. Once this is done, then you would just do file, save as usual, and then, okay, I'm sure it'll get there eventually. But then I would, basically I would select all the files here, I would put them into some kind of zip file, Lady Gaga, that's it. Put everything in there, and then close. And now I can send the zip file to my friend. It's got all the, the .als files for the project in there. It's got all the samples, and then they can just open up and go on and start editing the project. But again, they have to have all the same VSTs and all the same plugins that you have. So collaborating can be perilous in that way. So the way you do it, I'm just gonna end our suffering here. If you want to work with people who don't have Ableton, and there's still people too, what we're going to do is we're going to export each track as the stems. So, and if you're ever doing a remix for someone, you generally want the stems. So these are like every individual instrument separated out into its own track, rather than just like, because it's really hard to make detailed edits if you just have like the fully mixed down track. You can't really do much with that other than DJ it or make small adjustments. Suno has a nice feature where you can extract the stems, and then it will, you'll get all the instruments separated out. Doing its AI magic. Presumably, it's trained on a bunch of like collections of stems mapped onto a mixed down song, and it knows how to undo that operation to the best of its ability. So it's pretty good. No, I don't want to recover. Okay, so open up this one. Great, now my recent projects is just going to have a dead zone in it. Okay, so what you would do if you want to collaborate with anyone is you go File, Export Audio Video, and instead of setting the rendered track up here to main, you're going to say all individual tracks. And now it's going to probably pick up my references and some other things in it, but basically you select this all individual tracks, and then when you hit export, let's put this in some folder here. Stems, save that here. This is probably going to take a long time. Okay, so sorry, let me let me pick a easier example. Okay, let's like some kind of just throw a loop here, and then some other kind of loop, and then this loop. Okay, so maybe I'll just select these tracks. So file, export, audio, video. We'll say selected tracks only. Yeah, same thing, but just select tracks. I'll export these, and put them in Lady Gaga stems. Okay, now you'll see that I have one track for every, well, I have one wave file for every track that I selected here. And this also exemplifies why you want to name your tracks something meaningful in Ableton, because, you know, if I'm collaborating with you, I don't necessarily know what DMT drum loop means or FB drum loop perks. Like, you know, I'd want it to be named something better. But now, if I want to bring those stems back in, I'll open my own project here. And then, let's say, if if you're on Mac, you'd use Finder, but you select them all, click drag in here, and you hold down Control. I think probably Command in Mac, and you can see it go from like linear or horizontal to vertical. And when I drag them in that way, it'll create individual tracks for each one. And then you go on building your project. Who wants to go first?
Good.
I was gonna say, like, does the grouping actually carry here?
Does the grouping carry?
Yeah, like, you know how you group your things together.
Oh yeah. I think what happens is it generates a separate stem for each group. Let's see what happens here.
You're gonna ask to get, like, created outlines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it creates a separate stem for the group, and then individual stems for each individual track. So yeah. So when you're then importing those, I think there's an option to. Yeah, I guess probably in that case you'd want to avoid selecting the group. So this is you need to like communicate with your collaborator a little bit on this. So a question I get every single time is like, is there something like GitHub or Git or version control for music projects? And there's not. It's a really difficult challenge. You'd probably have to reimagine the DAW from the ground up to be version control compatible. There's just like a lot of data. You might be able to do it. It's just the diffs wouldn't be very meaningful because these are all like binary files. If you can make a DAW with version control, you could probably make a lot of money, but it would be very hard. So,
So I think wasn't your clap for a lot longer?
Oh yeah. I think I only selected like this much time.
Yeah. But otherwise, it would have like exported.
Yeah, if I had selected more. You'd also need to tell your collaborator what the tempo of your project is. Tell them. Another important thing to note is when you do this, when you're exporting it as stems, it's gonna render everything to audio, right? So you're gonna lose, let's say you have a synth lead and it's like MIDI and it, plays some notes. When you render that to audio, you're gonna lose the MIDI information in the stems, and you won't be able to kind of go back and change the notes as easily or change the synth parameters. So you really want to make sure that you have it sounding the way you want it before you export as the stems. And also, I would suggest not adding any like delay or reverb type of effects, time-based effects until like the very end, because that's like, again, you can't undo the effects once you've exported them as stems, and the time-based effects can create a lot of mud and take up a lot of space in the mix if you're not careful with them. So I would do I would add the reverb and delay and stuff like that at the end, unless you're absolutely certain that it sounds the way you want.
So you can't. So like MIDI is not specific to Ableton, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so like, does Ableton have a setting to export tracks as MIDIs?
Well, you could. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I think the best you could hope for there is that you would you could get the notes. Like if I export, let's see what happens if I do this. It might complain because I don't actually have a synth on it.
There was an export MIDI clip right underneath.
There was? Okay. Yeah, imagine like you could just take this. Okay, yeah, export MIDI clip. So, you could give them this MIDI clip, and then they can drop it into their version of the project, and then keep working from there. So, you would you would need the same VST, the same audio plugin with the same preset for it to sound the same. So that's like another vector of collaboration you have to ensure. And then, so then it'd be easier to just like share the whole Ableton project. But it's not necessarily a bad thing to like render stuff to audio, because then it forces you creatively to like keep moving forward. Like, you won't get hung up on like, oh, I got to tweak this parameter a little bit because it doesn't sound quite right. Like, no, just keep moving forward, keep shipping. If you really need CPU. Oh yeah, much easier on the CPU if stuff is rendered in audio. Like that's the cheapest thing for your computer to process. So it can actually, like, I don't think it's happened too much here yet, but you could definitely get some synth patches that are just so complex that your computer can't handle it and render everything else. So you'd want to commit to having it sound a certain way.
So for example, just is the like all this in the tracks.
Say that again?
Can you show me exports this times again?
Yeah. Well, I'll start by importing R. I select this track. I select these tracks because everything else is just empty. I don't want to export them. File, export audio. Selected tracks only.
Okay.
Instead of main, right?
Yeah.
Or of course you can export any individual track that you like.
If you have like automations on them, those are just gonna get exported, right? Like you won't be able to.
Yeah, you'll lose the automations. Okay. You'll only be left with like the final audio.
Unless you like bounce it with automations.
The automations are stored in the Ableton project file itself. It's not audio information. So.
But if you like render it, doesn't it get included? Or?
Yeah. Like if you're, let's say, automating the filter, then that will show up in the like you'll hear that, and it will be in the WAV file, the export audio. But you won't be able to then change the shape of that automation curve afterwards. Yeah. So it can be surprisingly difficult to collaborate with, from a technical perspective. But I have released at least one track where I did that with my friend. He was using Logic, and I was using, Ableton. So our strategy there was like, he started building one part of the track. I started building another. I think we shared some of the same samples so we could work on, and then we did like a final session on just his computer where we mixed everything. So kind of similar to software, where instead of you're both editing the same file, like don't do that. Like work on different parts of the song, or maybe different instruments of the song. Like maybe you would put together the drums, and your collaborator would do like the bass, or find some way, either split it up in time or split it up in like what instrument you're using. And then you can both kind of parallelize the work. But it can also be nice to like pair program and both be working on the same machine. A lot of analogies to software here. What's up?
What about like splitting the work up into like different sections of the song, like different drops?
Mm-hmm.
A lot, especially like in EDM, like you see like when two like artists collaborate, like one of them will get like, you can kind of tell by listening like who made which half of the song or third of the song.
Yeah.
Like how would you approach that?
Yeah, that's what my friend, like I was working on the like break section, which had some different instrumentation. Like I think I was using different sort of drums, but I had some of the like, I think I basically created the like background elements, so like the drums and the 808, and then he started scoping out the intro. I remember I made the drop with the bass line. So then we had this like general sort of skeleton that we created, and then we did one more session where we both worked on it. Like we added elements to the overall mix together. And two, like even if even if like one person's doing most of the mixing on their computer with all the tracks, you can still like, it's like, oh, we need you know, some kind of atmospheric pad sound that lasts for eight bars. So you go make that on your computer, finish it, export it, send me that individual thing, and I'll drop it in. So you can still like, you know, work on individual pieces and then have one person's computer as like the hub where it's all going down. Let's see, are there others? Let's see, I've also collaborated with vocalists. That's easy because they just basically will sing on top of your track and then they'll, you know, send you the recordings and you can drop it in, and they're not really mixing anything or adding any other sounds to the project. With my song Rockstar, that was more of a pair programming thing. Like Toshin came in with a few like initial loops in the sample, and then, you know, I was putting together the track, and then he would be like Rick Rubin, like, oh, I like that, no, I don't like that, change that. What if we did it this way? So that can be an effective method of collaboration. Yeah, and I think, and then there was the one I made with my friend where we worked on different parts of the track and then assembled it on his computer and finished the mastering together. So, cool. Any questions on? We're gonna practice that now we're gonna practice this workflow now in our next exercise. So, I think for most people we've had for this exercise thus far. So, let me see. Who's on the stream? This could be some rando, but I assume it's someone from the class. Yeah, I mean, he might be. But anyway, my favorite collaboration tool, Google Sheets. All right, let's see. Risha, Storm, Tyler, Michael, Louise, whose name haven't I said here? Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there anyone's name not on this list? Please say your name. I know I only have 9.
You're missing one person.
Who am I missing?
Nick.
Nick, thank you. Okay. Okay, so take everyone here, and then so for the first round, oh wait, and me. Okay, so first round, you know, everyone's gonna make a track, and then for the second round, we're gonna pass the stems to the next person. So Rishabh, you'll make 8 or 16 bars or whatever. Then you'll export your stems and hand them to me, and then I will build on your track. And, you know, Storm will go to Nick, Tyler, you go to Rishabh, and then we go to Storm, et cetera, et cetera. Does anyone not want to do this? First of all, did anyone not bring their computer? Okay, it looks like everyone's good to go. Great. So I'm going to set a timer for, I guess, 10 minutes. Make as much of a track as you want. You know, I would suggest like 8 bars, maybe 16 bars. You know, get some idea cooking, and then we'll export our stems. We'll muddle through sharing them with each other. You know, I would suggest uploading, you know, zipping them up, putting them on Google Drive, and then sharing the link with your collaborator. And then we'll download. I'll set the timer again for another 10 minutes. We'll build on the person's track that we got it from, and then everyone put a limiter on your track at the end of that, and then we'll play them all in sequence and have a good time. Does that make sense? You'll put a limiter, that effect I was talking about. You'll put it on your mat because, you know, we want it to sound loud and punchy and hot.
Yeah.
Before
do that at the end or now?
No. Do it at the end of round 2, put the limiter on, and then dial it to a setting you like, and then we'll export them all. You can share the MP3 in the Discord, and we'll play through them all. Cool. Any questions? And feel free to use AI music tools too. No rules here, whatever. Just make it easy for your friend, for your next person to collaborate. Any questions? All right. Oh yeah. I'm gonna get your headphones out before we go into the tank. All right. 10-minute timer. Does everyone have Ableton open? All right. Timer starts now. Yeah, whatever. Just whatever you want. 3.5 minutes. All right, that's 10 minutes, so a few moments to wrap up. I know that was fast. I didn't get very far either, but yeah, so before we do that, first make sure all of your tracks have a sensible name to them. So I've got like 808, snare, hat, synth. Also note down, what tempo your track is at. And then two, if you know what key you're in, that'd be good too. So like I'm in F minor, or even if you just have like one note, that could be helpful.
Should we put that in our file name?
Yes. So something like, or you can, when you zip up the files, you can put that information in there.
Is 12 bars okay?
Sure. I mean, it's a little unusual, but we're we're having fun here, so whatever.
Almost
We'll
16 minutes.
just have to go with whatever works. All right, so do file, export audio video, all individual tracks, export, and let's call this like something like EDM session 8, 2025, 11, 19. Put your name in the file too. So I'll do like
first audio video, and then how do we get the multi-track?
Select all individual in the rendered track part. Select all individual tracks. So I'm going to call mine like David 150 BPM F minor. No one else here named David. That's good. Save that. Where is this? Here it is. Okay. Cool. So I got all my stems here. Oh yeah, I guess you don't need the ones. I think it exports the send tracks by default. This reverb and delay one. You don't need those. You can delete them. Okay, so don't export as AIF files. File. Export, yeah. Select sure. Okay.
Swap.
Oh, turn on.
That's okay.
And then turn off this one, so that way we're export. Okay.
You only have one track.
Is that technically where?
Yeah. But then do it when you compress it, but otherwise you like hold it and compress. But you don't need to. Don't worry about that. Most people would worry about that. You would have to.
I'm gonna take your stuff.
Is it okay if I pull up the list of who were?
Oh yeah, go for it.
There it is. I mean, I only had 2 tracks, and it's like only 4 bars. So. Whose theme is Hey?
Me.
Chaotic.
I don't like people online to know who I am.
Oh, they definitely do. Who's score? Yeah, we're about to float it. Alright, no issue.
That's why my costs too big.
Okay, that time we got it.
Okay. And then delete the
Yeah, you can
guys.
delete
Yeah.
these.
Cool.
Okay. Cool.
Do you know what samples you used on this?
Yeah. It was.
Dude, this is heat.
Yeah. One was.
Any music that created.
Yeah, I'll just send you a screenshot.
Yeah, that's perfect. Did you make this like synth on your own? This like tune?
No, I just did loops.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I need to add your friend first.
Sorry. No, it's totally fine. I just wanted to check and see that. It's 10? Oh, because I just generated this.
Okay, if your partner has dropped the stems in the channel, go ahead and start. So, let's see.
It might take a long time to upload or download. Yeah, I'm like 3/4 Okay, good.
Okay, so I'm going to take Richard's stems. Nick, you're going to take Storm stems. etc. Oh.
Oh, I'm supposed to David?
Yes, I'm passing my stems to you. Here, we can-
Oh no.
Did you grab someone else's? Wait, sorry, I guess I should sort this one A to Z. All right,
I feel like
And it's 90 BPM, and you like warped the 120 BPM. Okay.
all right, yeah, so I'll start the 10-minute timer now. Oh, are your stems too big?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was struggling with getting it and put it on the score.
Did you try doing a zip file?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was taking too long.
I think another piece of information we have to communicate is that we warped different tracks, so otherwise they're not gonna necessarily line up, or are they?
When you export them, it should render all the warping.
Oh, okay.
Unknown key. Okay. Oh shit. All right.
Is Philip here?
Can I try to access it now?
See in permissions.
I don't know that.
Make any last minute edits?
I successfully imported the song.
All right. If you have a moment, throw a limiter on your main, and I would put it in maximize mode. I think everyone has limiter. Put it in maximize mode, auto. Drop the threshold down, so you see it start to actually do something. Just trying to go quickly here, so whatever barely works.
Where's your main? Like, how am I dropping it on all the track? Oh, like, sorry.
Main, yeah.
I see it. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the way at the bottom.
Yeah. And then export whatever you have. Export main. There's this encode MP3 option, so make sure we don't generate something that's too big for Discord. Let's see, this will be.
Wait, so the limiter, I just drag it onto main.
Yeah, limiter is an audio effect, so just double click main, drag the limiter there. And then I would switch it to maximize mode and then change the release to auto. And then grab this little triangle guide, drag it down until it's like, the way you do it, you would go to the loudest part of your mix. Drag the limiter on, add the limiter as an effect on main. Switch to maximize. Set the release to auto. And then drag this down until it's like, you can see it start to, these bars on the right will indicate that the limiter is kicking in.
As it's playing.
Yeah. Or you can use your ears.
What are you listening for?
I want the overall sound to get louder, but not be too blown out. Like if I push it all the way down, it's up here, it's not doing anything. So I want some kind of like sweet spot in the middle where it's like making it louder, gluing things together, but not, obliterating everything. And this isn't really the best moment to practice optimizing our limiter because we don't have tracks that are necessarily mixed all that great. But finding that sweet spot in the middle.
And then how should we export this? Send.
Yeah, I would do file export. Rendered track is main. I would turn on this encode MP3 option instead of the encode PCM, so that way we get a smaller file. So should be able to share these on Discord.
Yeah.
Export that. I'll call this show to David. From Kevin to Kelly. All right, and then throw them things in the chat, and we will play them one by one on the big speakers.
Let's get ready to wherever I am. It's not.
All right. In the interest of time, I'm going to start playing some of these. All right, Philip X. Tyler. Amazing collab. Let's hear it.
Throw your hands up if you with it.
Yeah. That was AI, right? Okay. Did you take hers and just drag it into Suno or like prompt it?
Yeah, I pretty much just prompted it, and then that's all the time that I had.
Gotcha.
and then I took hers, and then I like found that Suno does a lot of like, it was just like really just a lot going on, so I just like cleaned it up a little bit.
Okay.
And what I noticed in the stems too is that there's a lot of like dead noise, but there's like a little bit of a signal, but I didn't like the ambient noise that it had, so
yeah,
it was like interesting that it didn't like add a lot to the track.
Okay. Well, it's cool. So you didn't put any initial loops or anything in it. It was just purely a prompt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really have that much time.
Fair enough. Hey, when you don't have time to produce a track, just get AI to make it. Why not? All right. Let's see what Michael and Storm put together.
I know that human being and fish can coexist peacefully. Peacefully.
What is that sample?
Where did you get that? It's President Bush II.
Okay. All right, last one. Nice. Imagine a sick freestyle on top of that. That would be awesome.
You sound like Luigi or Yoshi.
Yoshi?
What?
All right. Well, that was all fun. And, this brings us to the end of our 8 sessions, our 4-week program. So I hope you all had a great time. Hope you all learned a little bit about how to make beats. After the break, I want to do a little reunion graduation party thingy with the other people who have taken the class in the past. Details forthcoming. If I get 3 submissions for the student showcase, I feel like I already got 1. Then I'll mix them all together into a little mini DJ set mixtape. So, if you get a wild hair to do some producing over Thanksgiving break, I would love to hear what you cook up. And now you're part of the illustrious EDM 101 community. So, lifelong friendships. And yeah, hope you all had a great time and learned something. It was an honor to be your EDM professor. Cool. Oh yeah. USB to USB-C converter. Also, glad we had such a great turnout for the last session. That really warms my heart. were any of those loops?
Let's see. The break thing was a MIDI loop.
Yeah.
And then I just subtracted out some of like the drum hi-hats. I think there's something. There's some kind of warping.
Yeah, I thought I heard some warp artifacts in there in the EP. So.